got another yo-yo review to do. This is the YoyoFactory Wedge. So the Wedge is Evan DeGau's newest signature machined Delrin yo-yo from YoyoFactory. Retails at $35. And let's chat about it, shall we? So this actually dropped the same day as the Sharp did. And they share some similar qualities, and I really like both of them. But let's kind of discuss the Wedge, and I'll compare it to the Sharp. I just did the review of the Sharp. Go look at that if you haven't yet, just to get yourself all caught up on it. So I'm going to tell you the weight, but the rest of the specs will be right here. This is a 67.8 gram yo-yo. That makes it a pretty heavy yo-yo. So it absolutely does play heavier than the Sharp, and it's a little bit bulkier as well as not as rounded over. As far as shapes are concerned, I do prefer the rounded over H shape. I've said that a ton of times. However, this very harsh W shape is near and dear to my heart. This is actually a very, very similar shape and size to the Countach. The top thing doesn't go out as far, and it's a little bit wider in it's a little bit bigger in diameter, and it's a little bit wider than the Countach, but it has a very similar feel in the hand to the Countach, just a machined Delrin version. It's also got these really cool fingerspin nubblies right here. You can get some killer super long fingerspins out of this. I mean, just like days and days and days of fingerspins. So it's definitely pretty cool in that regard, and definitely, if you like fingerspins, this is the fingerspin yo-yo. This and the Sharp, killer fingerspins. Forget the Magic Yo-Yo, the fingerspin one. Yeah, forget that. Forget the Skyva. Forget the Magic Yo-Yo Skyva. The Wedge and the Sharp are the plastic fingerspin yo-yos. Boom. But I like this. It's very cool. It's a pretty hard Delrin. It says it's made out of Delrin. That's what I'm just telling you what YoyoFactory says. It's a pretty hard Delrin. It almost feels like machined polycarbonate. Very hard Delrin. This kind of feels a little softer and slicker. This sort of feels harder and a little more blasted-y. But very nice material. It's hit my ring a few times. It doesn't seem to care. Very durable. Very nice overall. Looks great with the Yoyo Zipline Strings. So, you know, if you get the red and black one, which is, in my opinion, the way. They dropped the white and silver ones first, the winter edition. When those came out, everybody asked me, oh, you going to get a Wedge? You going to get a Wedge? And I said, I'm going to wait till the black and red ones drop. Black and red ones dropped, picked one up. Told you guys I'd do it. But really digging it. It's got a lot of properties that I like about it. It's very similar in those ways to the Sharp. But let's go throw it around. I'll tell you a little bit about it while I'm throwing it, and we'll go from there. Alright guys, we are back with the YoyoFactory Wedge. So I didn't know this was coming out, but apparently YoyoFactory had a bunch of cool things coming up for the end of the year, and this bad boy was one of them, and I like it. I'm glad. I love YoyoFactory plastics. There's pretty much only ever been one that I haven't loved, and that was the Daydream. And I kind of think that was a fluke more than anything else, because every other one of them is awesome. So the Wedge, I guess, is sort of based off the edge, at least the shape of the edge, but in all honesty, it feels kind of more like a Delrin Protostar, or North Star, actually, because it's a little bit wider and a little bit bigger and heavier. So the OG North Star, it kind of feels a little more like that, and that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Definitely kind of heavy and clunky playing a little bit. So heavier and clunkier than the Sharp is, but not bad. Like, I don't want to say that like, oh, heavy and clunky, like it's a bad thing. Like, it's just a chunky playing fun yo-yo. It's not meant to be a super competition yo-yo. You've never seen anybody do competitions, at least not regularly, with Delrin yo-yos. Delrin yo-yos are just meant to be good yo-yos to beat around and take with you and have fun with. And this thing's definitely fun. As far as the grind finish is concerned, it grinds about as well as the Sharp does. My hands are cleaner and drier today, so I can actually grind with it. It's kind of nicely machined, like tumbled a little bit, so no real issues with sticking on grinds. It grinds okay, as well as a Delrin is going to grind. As far as thumb grinds are concerned, the lip kind of edges out a little bit, so it's a little tougher. You got a snag there. Came with the red YoyoFactory pads, which are super grippy. I like that. It's much better than using the white ones, but at least the ones in the red one are super grippy. They probably match the pads, which I'm a fan of, because aesthetically it's very pleasing. But yeah, definitely a heavy yo-yo at almost 70 grams. It's 68.8 grams or something, or not 68, 67.8 grams. And the Sharp is about 67 grams. And this definitely plays a little heavier than the Sharp. But it's very smooth, very stable, very fun. I'm digging it. As far as smoothness goes, it's 9-ish out of 10. I tuned it a little bit. It's a little better now, about 9, 9.5 out of 10. About as smooth as my Sharp is. Your mileage may vary with Delrin. They're not always 100% smooth. Some of them might be really smooth. Some of them might be less smooth than mine. Mine's probably about in the middle, about 9, 9.5 out of 10, which is about what I expected for it. Very good. You don't feel it on the string. And it spins a long time because it's a big, heavy plastic yo-yo. And I've said before, I like big, heavy plastic yo-yos. Not necessarily big, heavy metal yo-yos. Big, heavy plastic yo-yos hold a warm place in my heart. This finger spin cup is incredible. Super good finger spins. Catches it right on the nub. You get super long, super smooth finger spins. I just kind of held it there, but if you get your fingernail in there, you can get really long ones. It's not blasted, so if you just leave your soft finger there, it will slow down. So it probably should have blasted it. I think it might have looked cool too, because it would have kind of matched the mattedness of the rest of the yo-yo. But still a good finger spin yo-yo, regardless. I mean, this is a killer finger spin yo-yo. Just, I wish it was matted. That probably would be better. But hey, maybe next run they'll do some matted cups. That'd be pretty cool. But let's go ahead and throw it on the desk. We'll take it apart and we'll do pros and cons. Alright, we are back on the desk with the YoyoFactory Wedge. Alright, let's pull this bad boy apart. I'll show you what the guts look like. It's very typical Delrin construction, at least as far as a lot of newer Delrin or plastic yo-yos in general have been constructed. The hub goes all the way through. So you got the hub there, usually including a fingerspin dimple like this one. It is also the bearing seat and the axle on the other side. So bearing sits on the seat here. As you can see, it's got the red YoyoFactory pads to match the red hub. And the red pads are the very grippy pads from YoyoFactory. They are probably the best pads YoyoFactory puts out. Really dig the red pads. They look really good and they perform really well. Take a little bit of breaking in, and they don't last as long as like the white pads or the yellow pads because they're really grippy at first, so you gotta kind of wear them in a little bit. But I've been playing this since yesterday, pretty hard all day, and nice and broken in now. It doesn't take very long to get them broken in, and they play great. Standard YoyoFactory center track bearing, very smooth, no issues. I lubed it when I got it because it was sitting outside in the cold, and then I brought it in the hot, and it started making that sound that bearings do when you do that. So I lubed it, and it's smooth and silent and perfect now. I really like the center track bearings. I feel like I very rarely have any issues with them. Just give them a drop of lube, and they're like, oh, we're good now forever. Don't worry about us. We got your back, man. So I'm a fan of that. So let's do pros and cons. So pros is that it's constructed beautifully, and it's a really nice Delrin shape. If you like the shape of the edge, if you like the shape of the Countach, this sort of WH shape is awesome. I think it's cool. A little bit sharp. I kind of wish it was a little, comfier. I prefer this. I guess I don't wish. I'm glad it is what it is, but I prefer this shape over this shape. But that's not to say that I don't like this shape, because I do. Grinds very well as any Delrin I've ever played. Doesn't stick. The fingerspin cup is great. I mean, you can really get some pretty long finger spins out of it, and it does just kind of guide your finger into that little dimple there. Very, very cool as far as that's concerned. Very easy to hit. No real thumb grinds to speak of, but nobody does thumb grinds anymore. You could probably pull it off if you did it on like a pretty extreme angle, but then you're almost doing a finger spin, I think, like with your thumb. So, maybe not the best for those, but who does that stuff anymore? Nobody. Just me. I'm the only one that ever comments on it. Cons, as far as cons are concerned, just things that could have been done a little bit better, I think. I feel like this could have just been a little bit more interesting as far as maybe cuts or maybe like a little groove or something would have been concerned. This could have been blasted. The hub could have been blasted. It's just a shiny plastic, which if you get your finger on there, it's going to kind of stick a little bit and slow the spin down. A blasted one would have just been better for finger spins overall. And if you're going to go to all the trouble to put a nice dimple in there, I feel like you should go to the rest of the trouble to blast it so that you get super duper long finger spins out of it. But that's just me. It works very well the way it is. It could be better. That's my it could be better. As far as weight, it's a little heavy and chunky. So it's not going to be for everybody. I know lighter yo-yos tend to be the way nowadays, but I kind of like heavy, chunky plastic yo-yos, and it's pretty smooth. So it's not really a con, just sort of it's almost 68 grams. It's pretty heavy. It's sort of in the realm of where like the Replay Pro would be weight-wise. It's a little lighter than that, but not much. And that's pretty much all, though. A good release from YoyoFactory at a good price. YoyoFactory really does nail plastic yo-yos. Their metal yo-yos are great too, or good too. Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking anything like that. But man, their plastic yo-yos are always like, yep, got to get that. It's gonna be good. They're pretty much like I said, other than that one, they hit the nail on the head every time. So big fan of this. Like I said, I prefer the Sharp. It's the same price as the Sharp if you're using the discount code on Yo-Yo Best Buy. But and I prefer the Sharp a little bit, but this is still an excellent pickup. It's a really fun yo-yo. I'm really enjoying it. It's a good compliment, I think, to the Sharp, and the fact that it comes in black with that red hub, I really liked too. So had to pick it up in that color, but I dig it. Very cool yo-yo. Great release from YoyoFactory. $35 price point's a great price point for a yo-yo right before Christmas. Would be a great Christmas gift. But wasn't on my Christmas list, so got it for myself as a birthday present. Because, sometimes your aunt just gives you money for your birthday, and it's instead of spending it on the kids, maybe get yourself a yo-yo. That's what you ought to do. That's what I did. Splurge a little bit. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for me today. I hope everybody has a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure you like and subscribe. I do videos every day, and we're sometimes two. We did 2 one day earlier this week. It was insanity. But again, guys, thanks so much for watching. Cheers to you, and I'll see you next time.